Welcome back to the Tyreek Told You podcast. You know, we're always on our best behavior, model behavior, if you will. And you know, I made sure to use the word model because today we are talking about Tyra Banks and the backlash she's been getting from the America's Next Top Model documentary on Netflix. I'm gonna be honest. I think that some of y'all are just doing a little bit too much. Like I understand being critical of certain behaviors and holding people accountable, but I also think that y'all have to remember this show was airing in the early 2000s. The world was a lot different back then. The fashion industry has always been problematic, and I feel like Top Model was kind of like your peek inside of that world. And the thing that's crazy is Tyra Banks, America's Next Top Model, and the Tyra Banks talk show were all considered progressive for the times that they were airing in. So for y'all to be canceling her now is crazy. I've seen people say that a lot of these girls, like, yes, I get it. Y'all went through what y'all went through, and I don't take that away from y'all. But many of you are just upset that you didn't get the career that you thought you would get from Top Model. I think what's also worth noting is that the landscape of reality TV today is so much different because now you appear on a reality TV show, you get all this newfound fame and notoriety, you translate that fame into a social media following, and then you use that new platform to get brand deals and get flown out places, maybe meet celebrities, maybe get pregnant by a basketball player. You know, like there's just so many options now. It wasn't like that in 2002. What happened was you appeared on your reality show, you would film the show, it would maybe air a year or two later, and then you have your 15 minutes of fame while the show is airing, and once the show ends, that's it. We forget about you in 2 months. You go back to your small town, go back to your job, if you had a job, and you just kind of go back into life. You may be like the small town celebrity for a year or two. Then you get married and settle down and just become a librarian, and that's it. And I think that a lot of these girls are a little resentful. But it's never too late to come back and start your career as a social media influencer or a content creator. What you do is you get all your other girlfriends together and y'all start a podcast about being failed models. The Failed Models podcast. Y'all can interview other top model cast members, share stories, share secrets, give us some behind the scenes production stuff. You know, you can maybe get 10 or 15 episodes out of that. Try to work your way into some new drama and just kind of ride that wave, and then maybe you end up on Zeus. Janice, you were hired to be like the rude, problematic judge. You were the Simon Cowell of Top Model, so I'm sure you hurt a few feelings too. I'm sure them girls got some not so nice things to say about you too, so just be happy that the spotlight isn't on you right now. What's she been doing lately? Is she still modeling? I remember she had the Janice Dickinson modeling agency. I used to watch that on the E! Network. That's been off the air for years and years and years. And I'm sure your agency's been closed for years and years and years. And the Janice Dickinson modeling agency kind of really benefited from the success of America's Next Top Model, because that's how most of us know you. Most of us like your personality because we saw it on Top Model. Did any of your models like book any gigs, any contracts? How did that go? I'd love to know. If you were casted on that show or you were signed to her agency, you need to start a podcast and tell us all of her business. Now, I know like each season they were promised like these huge contracts, cash prizes, and all these deals. And a lot of the girls didn't get what they were supposed to get. Now, that's a good reason to be upset. That's also a good reason to sue somebody. However, I don't think that your gripe should be with Tyra Banks. Your gripe should be with the production company and the network. Like, Tyra wasn't paying y'all out of her own pocket. Or maybe y'all did just sign a fucked up contract. Maybe there was like a clause in the contract that said, we don't have to pay you shit. And they just used the we don't have to pay you shit clause to not pay you shit. That's fucked up if that's what they did. But no, I'm totally on your side if you're like owed some stuff. But I just don't think that Tyra is the one who owes it to you. Nothing is guaranteed, and nobody owes you a modeling job. A lot of people expected the exposure from the show to propel their modeling careers, but the thing is, the fashion world sees you as a reality star, not a model, and they treated you like it. That's why y'all weren't booking shows. That's why there were no photo shoots. That's why y'all just fizzled out after the show was over. Now, granted, y'all had no way of knowing that it would be like this, but I don't feel like anybody owes you anything, unfortunately. That's just how the game goes. There were a lot of memorable girls from the show, because again, I did used to watch the show. But the only one who was successful post America's Next Top Model was Eva. And Eva fought to keep her name relevant. She was always doing something. She kept modeling. She did the acting thing. She did some reality TV. She dated the right people. Hey, it's a hustle. If you're not willing to hustle, this is just not going to work for you. Winnie Harlow was on one of the later seasons. I had kind of stopped watching from back then. But again, she kept her name relevant. And I don't think that she's on good terms with Tyra Banks either. I heard she got a bad attitude, though. I don't know how true that is, but that's just what I heard. I love Yaya. I was actually rooting for Yaya over Eva. You got second place, and I feel like I had two of the most iconic photos in top model history. But again, Yaya was a hustler. Everything that Yaya had after America's Next Top Model is because she worked for it. And I'm not trying to say that other people didn't work for it, but I do think there was this expectation that you would just be on this show and then life would be on easy mode. No, that wasn't the case at all. This is our solicited opinion segment where we have our viewers send in their thoughts and opinions on the topic. This is what Amber had to say about America's Next Top Model.
The fact that Miss Tyra Banks is going to message Miss J shortly before filming starts for this documentary is diabolical. Because in all that time, she never bothered to go see her. You can't even call. And the only reason that she sent that message is because Miss J would be like, you know what? I ain't even heard from the bitch. For reference, I was a teenage model in small town USA who loved fashion, and this show was a religion to me. Like, when I'm watching this documentary, so many years later, I remember all these girls' names and storylines like they were my real life friends. When Miss Whitney said that she was 5'10" and 115 pounds, my jaw hit the floor. 'Cause what you mean? No wonder we all had body issues. Lastly, I am so sad for this new documentary that I'm hearing about. And I can't wait to see a more real story that little Miss Tyra, hindsight is no accountability, Banks has not had her grubby little mitts in.
Thank you, Amber, and I'm glad you brought up the Miss J stuff. Now, Tyra, if that stuff is true, that's fucked up. That's fucked up. Miss J had a whole stroke and you didn't reach out? You wait till the documentary is coming out to want to reach out? Tyra. Now, Tyra. I want to be on your side, Tyra. But girl, we can't just be up here being bad friends. What happened between you and Jay? Was it like a one-sided friendship? Did you see the Jays as your actual friends or just like gay sidekicks? Because that's a thing. And I don't want to believe that you're that type of person. But for you to not reach out to Jay Alexander, that's crazy. Crazy. Here is our second opinion from Miss Chantel.
I fear we're being too hard on my girl. And I might be in the minority on that. That's okay. Okay. America's Next Top Model was around in a very specific time in pop culture and reality TV. Okay? The people were just getting their feet wet in the world of reality TV. Give her a break. Okay? If anything, Tyra was mimicking what she saw in the modeling industry. If you want to be mad at the powers that be that put the models on the runway. Don't be mad at Tyra. And it's also very suspicious that the photographer and the creative director, I think his name was Jay Manuel, it's something very suspicious about them going on a campaign against Tyra. But back in the day, the checks were clearing. Okay? The money was in your account and the check was cashed. I don't want to hear nothing you got to say about Tyra Banks. Keep it cute.
Thank you, Shan. Those are basically my opinions, too. You cannot judge a show from the 2000s through a 2020s lens. It's just not going to work. The world was different back then. Y'all just giving my girl Tyra too much. The thing is, if your name starts with TY, I'm going to be on your side. The ties have to stick together. Tyreek and Tyra. Tyra Banks doesn't know me from nowhere, but I'm going to still stand beside her. Tyreek and Tyra rocking out in Thailand. Tyreek and Tyra tying ties in Thailand. I don't know what made me say that, but I like the ties. Well, that brings us to the end of this episode. You know, a lot of people are upset at Tyra Banks, some less than others, but you know what? Things happen. Life happens. I wish everybody nothing but the best. I will say, y'all can take your foot off Tyra's neck just a little bit. Just a little bit. Like, you know, she's human. Let her grow. Let her learn. I think that season 25 will be successful views-wise because, like, it's coming in after all this hype from the documentaries. And we also want to see how Tyra's going to act. Is it going to be the same old Tyra? Is she going to double down on her behavior? Is she going to be nice this season? And if she is nice, will we believe it? Is it going to be genuine? Are you just saving face? We don't know. But only time will tell, and I look forward to watching it. I'll have something else to talk about on this podcast. So thank you all for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Follow me on all platforms at Tyreek Told You, and make sure you're sharing the podcast. Stop being selfish. Bye.